Are you ready for the best damn sports radio show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that then. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches, won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live, all 3 speakers go.
And what is up, everybody? Michael Buckhouse here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merch page. We got a new and approved merch page over there. We got some new shirts popping up there. Brandon Combs did a great job on our baseball tee, since it is baseball season. So let's welcome the man, the myth, the legend himself, Brandon Combs, to the show. What's up, Brandon?
What is going on, man? Man Hour Nation, are we ready? 5 days a week in the Ville. Let's do this.
Yeah, 96.1 Big X Sports Radio is where we're at right now, every Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. right here on the airwaves. But for you, those that are new to the show here and have not heard us, we do have a weekly segment, an interview with the man, the Ohio State Buckeye himself, the 6'7.5", 465 pounds, runs a 4.4 40, going to be in the NFL in 3 years tops, playing for the Kansas City Chiefs, winning Super Bowls with Patrick Mahomes, protecting his blind side.
He's going to be playing for the Chicago Bears, protecting, I don't know what some quarterback who's probably going to be underachieving and drafted way too early. But still, he's going to be blocking for him here in Chicago. You leave him alone.
Hey, welcome Zen Malowski to the show. What is going on, Big Zen?
Not much, just hanging out. What's up?
Yeah, me and Zen, we are kind of we are reaching out a new audience here, being on the Big X Sports Radio here now, five days a week, Monday through Friday. So the people that don't know who you are, tell them who you are, where you came from, and where you're at right now.
My name's Zenuwe Maholski. I came from Floyd Central. I played at Floyd Central High School, and now I'm at Ohio State to play football.
Not like Ohio State Community College. We're talking about the Ohio State. Come on, put the in front of it.
The Ohio State, yeah.
The Ohio State. So, Zen, you are technically supposed to be a senior in high school still right now, but you graduated early, and you have now been at school for what, about a month and like 2 weeks maybe, or so?
Yeah, probably like that. I think I've been like enrolled in classes for like a month and a half. I've probably been on campus for like a month and a little bit, like a couple days probably.
Okay, so let's talk about the transition from being a high school senior, like 17 years old. You turned 18 the day you came to campus, right? Like how has that transition been from being 17 years old and in high school to 18 and a college student now?
It's pretty weird. I mean, I've kind of gotten used to it now, but I mean, a lot of stuff changes, obviously, just more responsibility, more on your own, but I like it. I love it. Like, it's so much more fun than being back at home and, living with your parents and stuff, but, like, they, give you a full apartment with your own, like, washer, dryer, fridge, like, just everything, so it's just fun to finally be on my own.
Yeah, so, like, one of the biggest things about going to college early is the opportunity to play early, because, you're getting, 6 months of practice for those other incoming freshmen and the JUCO transfers and et cetera. What is the vibe that like you are getting? Like, how do you stack up against, these other 5-star athletes that are like on the offensive line? Like where do you stack up?
I mean, it feels really cool. I mean, it's cool because like when we came in, like as we're freshmen, obviously, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like you're kind of like a part of the team and everything you do is to contribute to like. It doesn't feel like how it did in high school where, like, you're going to be playing JV and nothing you do really matters. So, like, everything it kind of feels like you're on the team. But, I feel good. It feels really good to finally, like, practice and see these other guys. And kind of, like, I feel like, for me at least, I really skewed image of what I thought, like, a 5-star player it was, and I thought everyone would be perfect, but no, everyone's messing up in drills, like especially other freshmen, just like seeing everyone go through the same stuff. It's kind of like, okay, yeah, this is not like not everyone is picture perfect. It's like we're all gonna have to get like we're all kind of like it just feels we're all on the same level pretty much. Not the older guys. The older guys are definitely a different, like totally different level.
Right.
Like Thayer Munford, this gonna be his 4th year starting at left tackle. You know, he's like a 23-year-old man. So I mean, it's definitely different. But you know, it's just cool to see like that. It's not like everyone's picture perfect. Like we're all kind of have stuff to work on.
Right. So go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna ask. With all that being said, with everything going on, and you know everybody messing up, where's your confidence level at? You know, from when you arrived on campus to where you're at now, how do you feel like the early growth has gone for you as an Ohio State Buckeye?
Oh, I feel a lot better, especially because like when I came in, I had never. I mean, we didn't really get caught like, especially like for offensive line at Floyd, we never really learned pass blocking. It was always like you're kind of shuffling back in an angle, so we never learned like the traditional like kick step and how many different sets there are. So when I came in, they all knew that we didn't know anything. We didn't know like how to do any of that. But now it's a lot more comfortable. Like I've learned my stance. I've learned my 2-point stance. I'm probably gonna. It's weird because like I've been playing like left tackle the last 2 years, and that's where I thought I was comfortable. But I ended up like they put me in a right tackle stance, and it felt so much better and more comfortable, and like I felt like I had a lot more power out of it. So that's kind of where I've been practicing a lot too. So it's different, but I like it.
So is there an opportunity for you to play some right side tackle this upcoming year, or are you thinking you're going to sit this year out as a off season, or like what kind of vibe are you getting?
I'm not sure yet. We haven't really talked about it. Like I think so many people have asked me that. Like, I honestly have no idea because we're so far away from it still. No spring ball yet. So I'm really just gonna see what Coach Stud thinks, and I'm cool with whatever, honestly. But the right side, left side, it's weird because like everyone, like no one has a specific position here. Is what I learned is that when you get here, like you're not really like an offensive tackle or a guard or a center. You're an offensive lineman, so you play everywhere. So like you learn every position and you learn every like especially when we're learning plays and stuff, what I've learned is that like they want you to know every position and what every person on the line does for every play. So it kind of just wherever they need you to be, that's where they're gonna put you. Like so like the best 5 guys.
Yeah, like I kind of feel like if you know every spot and then like what every position has to do, like that makes your job a whole lot easier because you know that like that guard is supposed to go up to that second tier and you know cut off that mic backer. So like you have more at ease. Like hey, I can just take my guy and not worry about that guy. Is that kind of the vibe that you get?
Yeah, exactly. And like we're learning how to read defenses and stuff, and it's something I never even like realized that like I don't know if it's just because it's like this is the level of football that we're at, but it's like so much stuff that like I understand defenses so much better. I understand that like when I see a stacked corner and a stacked corner safety that like there's a chance that corner is going to blitz or like if there's an open gap somewhere, like someone's going to be filling that gap. They're never going to have like they're always going to be gaps found everywhere. And just stuff like that, or like if they have one deep safety, just knowing how the play is going to be affected by each formation that the defense is in, or if they have like a walked up linebacker, they know that there might be a stunt happening on the inside to cover up a gap. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
So
Right.
with everything up there as well, like this is going to be a 2-part question here. I want to know a couple of things about transitioning from a high school player to a Division I college football player. What has been the hardest transition for you, one, and two, what has been the easiest transition for you?
I guess just getting used to the technique and stuff and like learning, kind of having to relearn stuff, like relearning a stance, relearning like how you take steps, relearning how to like shift your weight and like how like to just sit in a comfortable 2-point stance for me was is still hard. I still work on that. But probably the easiest has just been like the amount of work that we have, I guess it's like when I come in like the lifting, I guess has been the easiest transition because a lot of it's weirdly enough, a lot of like the players that came in had never done hang clean or power clean or anything. So when we relearned all that, like I mean, that Coach Gumbel kind of had us really good, well set up with all the stuff that he does. So I already knew how to hang clean, power clean, and like have good form and all that. So that's probably been the easiest part.
Okay.
Yes.
And
So
then-
like the one thing that I can tell you is like when you do weights, they break you down 100% because it is all about technique at the end of the day. You can be a 400-pound squatter, but if your technique sucks, they're going to knock you down to 100 and like 10 pounds. And that is an ego check there. Like you have to check your ego at the door and like, look, like this is going to better me in the long run 100%.
Oh yeah, and it's also cool sometimes because like when we're lifting in groups, they almost have all of us do like the same weight. So like, or not the same weight, but like they never have us go super like for a super heavy set of 5. It's always like say a super heavy set for someone's like 265. They always keep you like 225 or 245, so you have a good technique and get the reps and like just so your body doesn't basically like you fail reps and get destroyed.
Right.
Yeah, so we got a couple questions coming in here on the chat line. Tori Anderson wants to know Chicago style or New York style pizzas, and he's trying to order food right now.
Probably New York style pizza. If I had to pick
I
one.
thought I taught you better.
Oh, man.
New York style is so trash.
I was up there one time when I was little and I loved it. But I never had Chicago style pizza, so I couldn't.
Well, look, since you're going to be blocking for the Bears here in about 4 years,
It's like
we gotta
upside.
get you
It's like
into some
upside down
Chicago
pizza.
style deep dish, man. You got to get that Chicago style deep dish in you because that's much better than New York style pizza, man.
I'll
Then
try it.
just come home and go to Pizza Hut and you'll be perfectly fine. And just hand toss pizza. Who cares about Chicago or New York? Why? You got any questions for Zen before we let him go for the night?
Yeah, so I wanted to apologize, Zen. I had some technical difficulties and stuff getting on here, but we're here now. But so I saw something on Twitter. Okay, so you know Nikki is a huge Ohio State fan. She's from Columbus and stuff, so she is really involved with the social media with Ohio State. So I always get my Ohio State fill with her. But I saw something Travion posted about Ohio State had their freshman opening day where they literally just killed you guys. Like it was just the way they explained it on Twitter was it was considered hell day for Ohio State freshmen. And they pretty much just made you all decide, are you for this or are you not for this? So how bad was that? I mean, Ohio State is the Ohio State. They're the, if not Alabama, they're the best college football program out there. So what would hell day at Ohio State look like?
Gosh, it's called mat drills. I think
Mat
I
drills.
told Coach Buck about this. I'm not sure if it was live or not. I honestly can't remember, but it's basically like there's like 6 stations, so 4 mats and 2 like there's a tug of war station and a like rope battle station where you're like just like standing up with the 2 ropes. But basically there's 4 mats and it's like 2 hours of just like chaos and insanity, and it's like the entire team. So pretty much there's 6 groups and each group is on a different station. So like say you're group 1, you would be on like the 4-point seat roll station, and it's basically like there's 5 lines and there's 3 people in each line, and you come up, snap down, and you have to like dive out onto the mat as fast as you can. Then you have to get up on your 4-point stance, and you're like shuffling, and your hands and feet are moving. And they'll point like a certain direction. You got to seat roll. Point another direction. You got to seat roll. And then when they point like back, you got to like roll forward. But it's basically just like constant movement. And if you like mess up the technique, or if you mess up like you don't snap down fast enough, you don't snap down low enough, you don't like jump out far enough or high enough, you have to reset. And the later the groups, the more that they reset you. So like if you're group 3, you're the last group, they bring everybody back. And each station's like 10 minutes long. So there's like different drills for each station. That was just one station, but like it's basically just 2 hours of constantly like just drills moving, and you just getting yelled at, and you got like it's more mental than anything because you just have to like when you're like super tired and you can like barely stand up, and you just have to like remember like, okay, I got to snap down to like this certain level, and I got to dive out at least 6 feet, and I got to like roll, jump, and like as soon as they tell you to do it. And that's pretty much it. It's extremely hard physically, but it's almost harder mentally, just because you have to remember to like Because if you, like I said, like if you're the third group and like both groups have already gone and you don't snap down in time, then everyone comes back and you're getting yelled at by the whole team, and
Jeez.
it's just a whole, it's
So
tough.
not only is it like physically tough, it's mentally bearing on you as well.
Yeah, because it's like they said that we do it because it's like replicating like the fourth quarter of like a hard game, because you want to see like
Yeah.
who's going to come forward and like lead, and like how are people going to hold up when it gets really hard, and who's going to like give up and go like fake puke in a trash can so they don't like finish the drills and stuff. But yeah, there's like there's trash cans by each mat because there's a lot of people that end up puking. But
I'm not
Did
gonna
you throw
lie,
up?
Zen.
No.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm about to throw up just listening to all of the action that you're doing,
Well-
because I'm getting tired from it. So,
well, it's every Friday, so it's a great way to end the week.
oh man,
A 2-day
And then-
recovery process.
And then we have
right.
our well, that's not the end of the day. It's like that's the mat drill part, but then right after mat drills, you have like we did like 6-inch box pushes where you have to like push the length of the field down and back, and you have to like beat the guy next to you, or you have to redo it. And then we have our Team Up North workout, which is like I think it's like 276 days or something until we play them. So like each day, like it's a push up. So like we do like 10 push-ups. You're counting like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, and then you have to do like different like core exercises. And you have to hold a plank, and it's like you just keep counting all the way up to 270. And each week it'll go lower. So like I think this week it'll be like 268 or something like that. And then at the very end you do. At the very end, then we have 15 push-ups for 15 games to get to the national championship every year. And then I think it's over after that. But it's a very long 2.5 hours.
Jeez. So favorite restaurants since you've been up there so far? I know they got to kind of have you guys sectioned away from everything, but so far since you've been up there, favorite restaurant or favorite food, something that you've ate up there that's been delicious?
Probably Buckeye Donuts. It's like this. We get donuts every Saturday for offensive line school, and that's where we always get them from, and they're so good.
Buckeye Donuts, huh?
They're good.
So Zen, before we let you go here, I mean, it's been a few weeks since like I've seen you, and I can tell you put on some weight, man. Like your arms are bigger.
You look buff, man.
Go ahead.
You do.
You can flex those arms, man. Like you've been working your ass off. Like show 'em, man. Like
you
there
look
you go.
you look almost as good as I do.
I know.
Almost.
God,
it's
stop it,
close.
Wyatt.
It's close. You look almost as good as I do. I'm just saying,
It's funny because I really haven't gained any weight. When I got here, I got the flu really bad for a week, so I ended up losing like 10 pounds. So I've kind of just gained back 10 pounds, but I guess I gained back better weight than what I had on. So now we're kind of
you
just
look
going.
good. So you
Thank
definitely
you.
look good, man. You definitely. So one thing you can always tell is a person's shoulders, because like when you start to gain weight and like get bigger, it always comes in your shoulders first. Most people, I should say, and you almost look like a 23-year-old man, almost.
Trying.
All right, Zen. Well, thank you for joining us, man, and we look forward to talking to you next week.
No problem.
All right, guys, that is Zen, the Ohio State offensive lineman there. I mean, we can't say right tackle or left tackle because they said they're all offensive linemen there. So, I mean,
yeah, man. For a second, I thought you two were gonna like ask him if he's gonna be in a Ohio State football player calendar or something.
Yeah.
Like,
well, why
I mean,
not?
you guys are all.
Hey,
he looks good.
You look buff.
He does.
Like, I mean, holy moly.
He does, man.
Hey,
All right.
Combs,
Give credit where credit's due.
I
Holmes,
agree.
do you realize he has to jump 6 feet from his knees? So he has to jump the height of me. I mean, 2 heights of like you to pass the drill.
2.5 heights of me, but
That's crazy. That's
How do you
crazy.
feel about that? All right, guys. So
yeah.
we are going to take a quick little break here on the Man Hour. We got some I should say we got some sports headlines coming up after the break. So stay tuned. And we also have the baseball lackey himself, Hoffy, coming with us with this Is it considered preseason power ranking still? Or are we going with
it's still preseason power
Okay.
ranking because the
So-
preseason just kicked off today.
Yep.
But yeah.
Major League Baseball preseason power rankings coming with our man Hoffy. So guys, we'll be right back here on the Man Hour. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckheist along with Brandon Combs and Wyatt Williams. Head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the blog section and become a member over there. Every Monday through Thursday, we do an after show. So at 10 p.m. East Coast time, you can join us on the after show on the members only tab. So let's welcome the guys back into the show, guys.
Hey, Wyatt's on time for this segment.
Yeah, Wyatt is on time. He is not no technical difficulties. AKA I was oversleeping. Like, let's just be honest.
That's what happened. That's what happened. The maids forgot to wake you up, didn't they, before the show? Isn't that what happened?
I don't sleep at 8:30 at night. I wake up at 2. Come on, guys, you know this. Or 1:46.
I thought you were just taking your nightly nap. I thought you just had a power nap or something.
It's all good, though. It is all good because we are going to talk some bread and butter of the Man Hour here, and it is time for some football talk. As we kind of hinted on last Saturday's show here on 96.1 Big X Sports Radio, that Russell Wilson was wanting a trade. I mean, not necessarily wanting a trade, but he said he would waive a trade for, I think it's like 4 or 5 teams that he come out and said, some of them being the Jets, Giants, Raiders, and then some other teams that later came out during the day. But why I'm going to kick it to you first here, because I think you said this is a bluff, but is Russell Wilson bluffing, or does he actually want out of Seattle?
So I don't think he's necessarily I think it's a little bit of both. So I think it's a bluff because, you know, at the end of the day, he wants to go to, he doesn't want to move. Nobody likes moving. You want to stay at the same house you live in. You want to stay in the same city you've been in for a long time now. You want to keep, you know, he's got a good wide receiver core that's young and younger than him, so they'll be there longer than him. He's got a good head coach in Pete Carroll that makes some poor decisions sometimes with his scheming on Russell. But also at the same time, I think he's also tired of having no offensive line, of having a defense that sucks. So I think that that's also part of it. So I think it's a little bit of both, but I'm going to lean a little more toward that it's a bluff. I think that this is a scare tactic. And, you know, I think that the Seahawks are seeing all these posts from large groups, large media groups that are having edits of Russell Wilson wearing a Saints jersey, Russell Wilson wearing a Bears jersey or a Cowboys jersey. And I think that the Seahawks are getting a little nervous and they're like, okay, we screwed around with this way too long. Let's go ahead and get him what he wants. You know, he is our franchise quarterback. He is the guy that we've put all this money into. Let's get him what he needs. Let's get him what he needs to get back to the Super Bowl. After all, it does make sense what he's saying. The last time that he was, you know, good, he had a good defense. So let's get him some more defense. You know, the last time he was good, he had a, you know, decent offensive line or better than what they have now. Let's get him some more offensive line, maybe a right tackle or, you know, a left tackle that's younger than Trent Brown, I believe, is their left tackle. So I think it's a little bit of a both, but I will lean a little bit more toward the bluff side.
Combs, before I let you start there, let me hit on some points that White said there. Get a better defense. They picked up Jamal Adams in the offseason there. They signed Bobby Wagner to a pretty good deal. They improved the defense of a line by signing Dunlap in the season. So what other help on the defense can you possibly want? Come on, Wyatt.
They actually have to perform, though, Buck. I mean, they were a very
when you look at
defense.
when you look at his defense when it was good, he had 2 good safeties rather than just Jamal. He had 3 good linebackers rather than just one in Bobby Wagner. He had 4 good down linemen instead of just Carlos Dunlap.
So
and
what
then
you're
he
saying
actually
is
had
Russell
good corners.
Wilson is just an average quarterback that needs help around him to succeed, right?
No. I mean, like they have a good
what you're
offense that works well. It's just the defense doesn't create stops. They
I see what you're
every
doing
game.
there,
Every
Buck.
game is a shootout.
I see what you're doing.
That's
there.
what I'm saying.
Stop it. He
Go,
is an above average quarterback. Does he, where does he go? Where does he fit? Look, you guys, dangled it out there for me last week talking about, he's gonna, he wants to go to Chicago. I know you guys like to tease me. And look, I know that he said it. I know he said one of the places he would go is Chicago, but I don't know why. I don't know why any quarterback would want to come into this organization and do anything because of the way that it's currently constructed. I think that, I think that Dallas is a good fit for him if they don't give Dak the franchise tag. I think that Dallas should maybe even think about a trade and try to acquire Russell Wilson for Dak Prescott. You might even get more than just Russell Wilson in that trade. So there are a lot of places where Russell Wilson could go. I don't think he's bluffing. I think he was really done in Seattle. I think he sees this quarterback carousel going on. I think maybe he thinks a change of scenery will help him, be better. I just don't know. Like, you're not going to go anywhere right now other than Dallas and have a better receiving core to work with than what you have now. You're not going to go anywhere and have a better run game than what you have now. So I just don't. I don't know what he thinks he's going to get with help, because I think the pieces are there in Dallas. But I also think that the pieces are there in Seattle. I don't see much difference between Dallas and Seattle, and Dallas is really the only place that makes sense for both sides.
So one thing that I want to bring up, actually several points here. One point is that one of our fans here, Coach Tip, he sent me a text, I believe it was Saturday afternoon after the after our show on the Big X on Saturday there. He said the only way Russell Wilson gets traded is if it goes to the Jets or the Giants, because his wife, I believe it's Sierra, wants to it will better her career if she is in New York. So that is why he is wanting to leave Seattle and go to New York. First things first, how big of first of all, Sierra is a pretty big musical name if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I know her music from somewhere somehow. But how big of music career do you really need when your husband is making $100 million? I mean, do you really need to make that much more cash?
And if she's looking to further her music career, she is not a country artist, so why would she want to go to Texas?
Well, it said New York, the Jets or the Giants. I said nothing about the Cowboys.
Oh, I thought you said Dallas.
Yeah.
My bad.
No. But I also feel like most musical people, L.A. is the spot, right? So why is not the L.A. Rams on the list, or
they got Stafford,
Vegas Raiders?
Vegas wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, I mean, but let's say that the L.A. Rams, came up in that conversation. Would the Rams part from Stafford to take Russell? Combs?
Man.
That's a good question. That's a tough one.
Yeah. That's a very tough one. I don't even know really how to answer that one.
I think it would be more the less of not an LA decision. I think it would be more of a Seattle decision. I don't think Seattle would want to give up Russ for Stafford. The only quarterback right now I can truly see, there are two quarterbacks I can actually see Seattle actually giving up Russ for, and that is either Derek Carr, because they would, if you all saw that deal that you all sent out earlier, if they get those 2 first-round picks as well to go along with it, that would work out for them. And then Dak Prescott. Those are the only 2 guys I could really see.
The Raiders would think about Derek Carr plus 2 first-round draft picks for Russell Wilson. I think Derek Carr is a better quarterback than Russell Wilson.
Derek Carr, they would only give up 1 first-round pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the other pick would come from the Cowboys. So Carr would actually go to the Cowboys. Dak would go to the Seahawks, and Russell would go to the Las Vegas. I think that's how it would kind of pan out.
That's an interesting 3-team trade.
Yeah.
Do you see that happening in football? I mean, 3-team trades in football are very, very rare, especially 3-team trades when it involves your franchise quarterbacks.
Well, I mean, I don't think that trade is going to happen, because the Cowboys would have to sign Dak to a deal, because there is no way that trade is going to happen on a franchise tag. Because meaning, yes, the Seattle Seahawks get Dak, but he is on a franchise tag, so meaning he is a free agent at the end of the year. He can do whatever he wants, because in the NFL you can only get franchise tagged twice, and the only other person to do that was Kirk Cousins.
I'm hoping they keep doing the Kirk. Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm hoping that they keep Kirk Cousins in me, and because if they franchise tag him this year, he gets $37 million. If they franchise tag him again next year, he gets $57 million.
Well, they can't. They can't do it next year.
Yeah, they can.
It's a 2-year tops, I thought.
No, you could. I believe it's. I want to say it's 3, but they could absolutely franchise him this year and next year as well. But if they did so, it just. I mean, the amount just is insane. $57 million for 1 year for Dak Prescott is what he would get. At that point, why don't you just sign him to a contract?
Well, so the reasoning why Dak Prescott did not sign that deal for the Cowboys last year was because the Cowboys were wanting that 5th-year deal, or the 5th year, and then Dak was only wanting 4 years. So when his contract was up, he was still in his prime, and he could sign another $100 million type of thing.
And
as
over
well.
here on the chat line, Drew says, "I thought that Dak had a no trade clause too." I do not believe so. I believe
Dak
he's still on
is
his
not
rookie
underneath
deal.
contract.
Yeah, he's still on his. He was franchise tagged last year, and right now I don't believe he has. I think he's got a restricted contract because they have until I believe March 9th to make a determination on whether or not to franchise tag him or let him walk. Or
there are only very few players in the NFL that have no trade clauses worked into their contract. A couple of them being Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Russell. And then I think maybe like Aaron Rodgers might have a no trade clause as well. So, but why? Any closing thoughts before we move on to the next topic?
Dallas should not move on from Dak. I think Dak's the guy in Dallas.
Yeah, I agree.
That's about as dangerous as I'm going to get.
Come on, man, toe that line.
Unless you can get Deshaun Watson, that's the only deal I make for Dak.
Oh, here we go. I got a hot topic for you. You ready? And it involves something Combs said earlier. Chicago has a better wide receiver core than Seattle.
Stop it.
There you go.
Stop it.
And I'm going to say Robinson, that Dak Prescott's better than Deshaun Watson.
Jeez, I'm crow.
I can't say that.
Oh my God, with you two, I
swear
to God.
Deshaun Watson is the second best quarterback, or second most valuable player in the league.
Moving on to the next topic here. Tiger Woods was in a car accident. I believe it was last Thursday, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Yeah.
Or sorry, last Wednesday, I should say, because we did a Thursday show on it. So he did break both of his legs, or both of his ankles, and shattered his ankles. So Sunday during the golf tournament, a lot of the players wore red in honor of Tiger because everybody knows that when Tiger, he wears red on Sunday because, that's like he's going for the blood type of thing. And
red shirt, black pants.
Yep. So, Combs, let me ask you this. Tiger Woods pretty much changed golf the way we see it now, right? Back in the day before Tiger Woods, it was a very white tie event, right? Or a black tie event.
Well,
did Tiger Woods save golf?
Yeah, I think back before Tiger Woods, it was very much an old man type of sport. Like it was an older generation, the guys who were retired or the guys that were out on the golf course all the time. And then the very few that, just love the game and were younger, were actually into it like that. I think that Tiger Woods, not only did he change golf, but he brought in a completely different generation. I mean, he was an 18-year-old on the PGA Tour that brought people to see him play. And I was in my early 20s when he started playing, and I absolutely loved having him on. And so he, for me, is the reason why I got into golf. He, for me, is golf. He's the greatest golfer in the world.
Yeah.
I think he's the greatest golfer of all time. Obviously some people argue with me about Jack Nicklaus and all that other good stuff, but Tiger Woods was the reason why you would go to watch a golf event. And the things that he was doing were never seen before. So it was amazing to watch. It was fun to watch. Obviously, later in his career, all the stuff with that went on where we lost him for a couple of years, due to some of his own demons. But he was absolutely everything to golf, and he absolutely transcended the game for sure.
And I want to bring up this comment real quick, and this is exactly what I was going to say. I know the comparison seems crazy at the moment, but like Combs said, he brought in this new generation to golf that wasn't really a thing. Back before Tiger, it was like you said, it was the black tie event, the gentleman's game. There wasn't really, any kind of cheering. It was all just bass clapping. But then, now you have guys, the Masters, that hit this great shot and the place goes nuts. They all start screaming, clapping, the place goes crazy. And it's essentially what you see in Happy Gilmore. I mean, I think that's a really good comparison. That's what I was going to say. But Drew, I got to give him the shout out. He said it first. But I think that's the best comparison I could make because he just revolutionized the game. He brought a whole new crowd to it. It was all like Combs said, it was all older guys. Now, golf would have went on. I don't want to say he necessarily like kept the game alive because
I'm going to say he kept the game alive. He put it on CBS every Sunday.
Absolutely.
But just golf is such a popular sport
Now,
that it's like a
it wasn't as popular back then. We have a golf channel right now because of Tiger Woods.
Right.
There was nobody out there that was watching every single Sunday. Look, my uncle, who is in his 60s now, he was an avid golf fan. Like he would watch every tournament on TV. But even he has said, and I asked him about this, I said, what was it like before Tiger Woods came? He said, I could only watch the majors because these other tournaments weren't on TV. And ever since Tiger Woods has come, he's so must-see TV that they've put more events on TV, and I get to watch everything now. Tiger Woods is the reason why golf is as, highly watched as it is.
So one comment that I saw here, and I was going to address it as well, Combs, if you want to bring that comment from Tori Anderson, said they had to basically lengthen the golf courses. I believe the term was called tiger proofing them, right? I mean, they added a extra 100 yards onto every course, and just because of his pure driving ability, and people want to really focus on the driving ability of Tiger Woods, but where you make your money in the golf is your mid-range game. Being able to take out the 6-iron and hitting it a 166 yards on a dot every time.
Well, that's the other thing too, is when Tiger was in his prime and when he was really running tournaments, I mean, he was pretty much winning every tournament. But you would tune into a tournament, and as soon as Tiger Woods would go to hit his ball, they would break away to watch Tiger hit the ball. They called it Tiger Watch. He had his own segment on every broadcast. It was absolutely insane. Tiger Mania was absolutely nuts at its peak.
No, and he definitely, I couldn't agree more. He absolutely changed the game and stuff. But he's an incredible player, and the biggest thing that I just hope that we get to see him eventually back in the game. I don't think we will, but I hope we see him as some kind of an advocate for the PGA or something. Me and Combs talked about that on the last show.
Yeah.
Hope to see him at some kind of a impact still on golf, which I guarantee you he will.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I bet you a big impact we'll see from him. Here, give me just 1 second.
So Combs,
Big
if you want to
impact
go ahead
we'll
and
see that right there. I bet he writes many more golfing books and books about this injury, books about his dark period in his time.
Yeah.
how about a
Sure.
book of not how to get caught cheating? That would be a bestseller.
God.
That
was a song written by Shaggy. But
You're right.
anyway, let's
It
go
wasn't
ahead
me.
and let's go ahead and get over to the chat line here before we cut to another break. Talking about the Dak Prescott thing, Tori Anderson says he should push for a trade to New Orleans. The city is shining just like his career. That's a play on the Sierra song, "Shine Bright Like a Diamond."
Yeah, there you go.
So,
But I don't think his style of play would fit in New Orleans because, like Drew Brees was such a pocket type of guy, and yes, I do like Sean Payton as a coach, but there are certain coaches that don't evolve as coaches just because they've been coaching the same way for so long, and I don't think he wants to evolve. He wants to draft a pocket quarterback to replace Drew Brees.
and then there was a conversation going on YouTube. Vinny Quiroz asked, Combs, do you think the Cubs can make the playoffs? This is a good lead-in for our next segment. I do think that the Cubs can absolutely make the playoffs. I actually think that they can win their division. They're playing up against a very weak division. Granted, look, they lost 4 of their 5 starters out of their rotation, but they did a good job replacing them. And it's a very weak division. I know the Cardinals just added Nolan Arenado, but that's still a very weak lineup. The Cardinals don't have the pitching. The Brewers, I think, will probably be the biggest test. However, I don't think the Brewers have enough pitching either, which Tori Anderson...
Everybody is sleeping on the Brewers. And that's a Cubs fan saying that. But I got to say, Combs, speaking of baseball real quick, just to interrupt you, I don't mean to, I'm sorry. How excited were you as a Cubs fan, because I know I freaked out, how excited were you to see Jake Arrieta back in a Cubs uniform? Because I was watching some of the warm-ups the other day for the Cubs, and to see Jake Arrieta in a Cubs uniform again, that was so cool. I had the biggest smile on my face.
It's one of those things where, so I'm very much a player. I'm very loyal to players, especially to anybody who was on that 2016 team. So to see Jake Arrieta back with the Cubs is very cool, especially to know that he turned down bigger contracts to come back for a reunion with the Cubs is even cooler.
I walked down the hallway and looked at my Jake Arrieta poster, and I just looked at it. I stood there for probably 2 minutes, 3 minutes, just smiling at it.
And I don't know what Tori Anderson was smoking, but he says the Brewers win 97 and win the division. There is no team in the NL Central that is winning 97 games, and he wants Hoffy to go ahead.
I like the Brewers, man.
Top 3.
Their pitching sucks, dude, but they got Yelich, man. I really like Yelich.
Sucks. You just said it right there. They have no pitching. Yelich is
they've
really
got some
their
good players
only...
around him.
No.
They have all of the Royals from the 2015 team on that team almost.
Oh my God.
If you want to win World Series, go get the World Series team and build it, right? And that's just the way it is. So speaking of World Series, we do have Major League Baseball power rankings coming up next here on the Man Hour. So our man Hoffy is going to give us his weekly power rankings. We're going to have him every Monday here on the Man Hour. So stay tuned, guys, right here on the Man Hour. We'll be right back right after this little break.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
And welcome back to along with Brandon Combs and Wyatt Williams themselves. Let me go ahead and bring the boys back on. If I stop pushing the wrong buttons, it'd be highly, highly appreciated. But it is that special time of year. Sunday was the first spring training of the Major League Baseball season 2021. If you guys were following Combs on any social media at @manhour_Combs on the Twitter machine where you can find him, he was on cloud nine since about 1:30 a.m. East Coast time. He was just like
spring training games today.
There you go. Like, what did you watch him on the Major League Baseball channel, or you watch him on something else?
I watched one on MLB Network. I watched a little bit of the White Sox on Comcast Sports Chicago, and then I caught a couple others on the MLB at Bat app actually.
Yeah. So Combs, being a passive baseball fan, I need to step up my game this year. So I actually purchased the Fox Sports Midwest this year on my Sling TV, and I've already pre-recorded every Kansas City Royals game. I always want to say Chiefs. Kansas City Royals game this season. So I am prepared to tear our man Hoffy apart on his ridiculous baseball rankings day in and day out. But Hoffy, welcome to the show, man. Tell the people a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and what gives you the ability to give us power rankings each week.
Because you guys lack the pure baseball knowledge, so someone's gonna help you guys out.
Wow.
That goes for you, Cone.
Already shots fired with that. Come on, that is ridiculous.
Look, Hoffy. Look, being the baseball lackey, I allow you to put down these power rankings every week so I could tear them apart. However, this week I don't really have too many problems with you right now.
I figured, and I kept your Astros out just to keep you.
Stop saying my Astros. Don't ever put me in the same sentence with the Astros ever again.
Yes. So Hoffy, every person has two teams. Like, let's just be flat out honest. Like, you can be Boston Sox, but you are going to root for the Padres.
What?
Combs is a Cubs fan, but he is going to be rooting for the Astros all season long because he knows where the true talent is.
No, he's rooting
like
for Power out in LA.
You're about to get the mute button. You're about to get the mute button. First of all, I admit it. Look, after the Cubs, I'm a baseball fan. Like, I'll watch every game anywhere, anytime. I'm just hoping for a good game. I love the game. I don't root for any other team other than the Cubs, but I just like to watch baseball. So, Hoffy, man, look, man, I'm glad you're here. I took a look at these power rankings before the show. So why don't we go ahead and get to them here? Who you got at number 10?
So we'll get right into it. So at number 10, we got the Toronto Blue Jays. I believe Vladimir Biggio, Gurriel Jr. You added all-stars in George Springer, Marcus Semien. So they have one of the stronger lineups. The question marks are going to be at the corner spots next to Springer in the outfield. But I got Nate Pearson. I think he's the number 10 prospect on the list. If he can have a solid year and be a number 2 for them behind their number 1, I think they can. They might be able to take the AL East if the Yankees don't stay healthy.
Yeah, I love the Toronto Blue Jays. I love what they did this offseason. They made a lot of moves. They were quiet, but they made a lot of moves. And plus a very good, young, solid core. And I think that the Blue Jays are really going to make a lot of – they're going to be a la the Tampa Bay Rays last year. They're going to be one of those teams that you don't see coming, and they could probably make a run at an American League crown this year.
Yeah.
So you think George Springer is the deciding factor of the Blue Jays this year?
No, I don't think George Springer is. I think George Springer in that lineup was a good move. I think that Vlad Guerrero Jr. is. I think the way Vlad Guerrero Jr. goes is the way that the Toronto Blue Jays will go. If he has a great year,
absolutely,
the Blue Jays are going to be very happy.
But adding Springer just gets you someone that's been there, and that just going to help you when it comes to those big moments. That's why I like Springer.
He's going to help you fill the IR. I don't see him being healthy at all. All this year. I'm saying.
Predicting freaking injuries? Is that where we're going now, Buck?
I am not predicting injuries. I am predicting that they have somebody else better to fill that spot come about June or July.
Have you met? Stop. Hoffy, disregard anything that Buck or Wyatt say.
It's your Midwest TV package, Buck.
Yeah. Stick to that. All right, who you got at number 9?
Number 9, I got the Oakland Athletics. They got Puck. I'm a big fan in Mania. I would actually get to see him a couple years ago throw the no-hitter against my Red Sox. Frankie Montas, it's going to give them a solid rotation. They're going to have a reliable bullpen. And adding Elvis Andrews is going to be a little, unique at first, coming over from the Rangers. But you also got Mitch Moreland. So I think, and he's a big doubles guy. And in that ballpark, that's definitely going to help that Athletics lineup.
Yeah, I think Elvis Andrews was a great pickup for them. In a already pretty good lineup. They've got the Oakland A's, and I say this all the time, people sleep on them heading into the regular season. And the Oakland A's find a way every year to at least be in the race in the AL West, if not winning the AL West and making it to the playoffs. They've been in the playoffs the last 3 seasons. 3 seasons in a row. And people still, when you talk about the AL West, want to talk about the Astros. They want to talk about the Angels coming up. They want to talk about, all these other teams. Everybody sleeps on the A's. I don't understand it.
The Angels are a team that I want to watch out for, especially if Ohtani stays healthy. I mean, if he's going to hit those triple digits, we had question marks as to whether he's going to pitch or strictly play in the field. So I do like him being a two-way player. So if he stays healthy, that's going to be a big help for the Angels, and we'll see if they can climb into that top 10.
Do you think he is the X factor? Combs.
Ohtani?
Yeah.
For the Angels, yeah, he needs to stay healthy.
Madison Hoffy. I don't care what you say.
I thought you said Combs.
I mean, well, you got Trout, you got Quintana. So yeah, if you can get Ohtani healthy, Justin Upton, Anthony Rendon, Albert Pujols, it's his last year, so he's going to show up. Jose Iglesias, he's going to show up with a glove. Kurt Suzuki, and I love John Madden as the manager. So that's where I think John Madden or Joe, excuse me, makes them a contender in the West.
John Madden was a great coach, but he coached
football.
My sports are mixed up.
All right, so Javi, who we got at 8, bud?
Let's see. Number 8, we got the Rays, the Tampa Bay Rays. Pitching is always a strength for them. It's likely going to be so again. The X factor is going to be Arizarena. If he's not a one-time wonder and just shows up for the playoffs, and if he's there all year, I think that team can make noise and compete with the Jays as well as the Yankees.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Rosarena, like that guy, if he does not pull what I like to call a Kyle Schwarber, and only have one good postseason and then just flake out the rest of the regular seasons, I think that I like a Rosarena more than I like a guy like a Kyle Schwarber is that a Rosarena is more consistent, and he came up. He's playing the position that he came up in, whereas Kyle Schwarber was switching from catcher, then maybe playing first base, and then all of a sudden playing left field, and he wasn't a very good outfielder. So, I think a Rosarena is the real deal, but only time's going to tell on that one.
Yeah. Did you see your boy Schwarber throwing the guy out at home today?
I did, man. I did.
See?
Look, I love
bad.
Kyle Schwarber. Again, I love anybody who was on the 2016 team. I love Kyle Schwarber. I love Kyle Schwarber as a DH in the American League, though.
Absolutely.
I agree.
I hope that's where he ends up. All right, so who we got at number 7, Hoff?
We got the Chicago White Sox. You got some good young arms, but none of them have proven it. They're young, but I believe Dallas Keuchel is the only one that has like a 3 ERA. The rest of them are in the 4. So I mean, they're young. They're gonna be good. But let's see if they're going to be able to play with the Twins and the rest of the big boys in the AL this year.
Yeah, so the AL Central is going to be down just like the NL Central. I think this is going to be a 2-team race. I think it's going to be between the White Sox and the Twins. And for the White Sox, it really is a matter of Tony La Russa and how well that old school mentality mixes in with these new school kids. And I mean, this team is very, very good. I don't know if you caught any of Tim Anderson's press release that they had there. He was on Chicago Sports Radio here, and they asked him, they said, how do you feel about the team this year? And he just said, F it. We're the best team in the American League, period. And so that's the swagger that I love from this team because I say it all the time. I don't root for the Sox, but I don't hate the White Sox. I'm a Cubs fan. But the White Sox are so much fun to watch, man. Like the Braves and like the Padres, they are young, they are talented. They're going to be a very good team. I have to see how well Tony La Russa mixes with this team.
I agree.
All right, so who we got at number 6, Hoff?
Number 6, we have the staying in the same division, Minnesota Twins. Brought back the same exact lineup that they've had in the recent seasons, which has been one of the better lineups. Added Gold Glove and Simmons, to shore up the defense. And they have a great rotation, Maeda, and I'm a big fan of Barrios, and that's why I got them in front of the White Sox, because they have 2 proven starters that are going to get the job done.
Yeah, so, I love that pitching staff in Minnesota. Sorry, go ahead, Buck.
Well, I was just going to say that you said that the AL Central was going to be down, but Hoffy has 2 teams in the top 10.
I said it was going to be a 2-team race. I said it was going to be between the Twins and the White Sox.
You need to put the Royals in there because they are adding some pieces.
Why? Because you got the Midwest package. We need to put the Royals in there.
No, come on now. They are starting to add some pieces. They're starting to make some moves.
I do believe that the Royals are 1 year away from making some serious noise. If their young players don't, hey, they'll be 3rd place in their division this year. They're not going to compete for the playoffs, but I do think with the younger talent that they have coming up next year, they're going to be real good. Along with the Mariners. They're going to be
ahead of the Indians and the Tigers. Woohoo!
It's not the Indians anymore.
The White Sox are going to be the team in this. The White Sox and Twins are going to be the cream of crop of this division for the next 5 years. I do love the addition of Maeda on this roster and in this pitching staff. I really like the Twins. I think that they probably win this division, but I think it's going to be a close race. So I'm good with the Twins there at 6. Who we got at 5?
We got the New York Mets. You got Noah Syndergaard. He's returning. He's the X factor. Jacob deGrom, Marcus Stroman, who was an opt-out, as well as they got a solid 6, front 6 with Lindor, James McCann. I know you're high on these Mets. But I got the other 4 teams in front of them were there last year in the playoffs, so that's why I got them outside the 4.
I'm very high on the Mets. I have them in my top 3. I love this pitching rotation, man. I think a lot of people are sleeping on the fact, not that they got Francisco Lindor, because we've already seen the blue hair. We've seen him at Mets camp. We've seen that he's doing all the things that Lindor does and having fun. But the sleeper of all the moves was the Carlos Carrasco deal. Having Carlos Carrasco added to that already deep rotation, and Carlos Carrasco is potentially an ace. This guy could be a number 1 on a whole lot of teams out there right now. So I really love that pickup. And so for me, I think the Mets are a little bit low on your power rankings, but I also don't have a problem with somebody, having them down at 5 until they can prove that they can win. Because, we all know the Mets, they do what they do best. They met, and the Mets always find a way to just met it up, and it's really bad. So we'll see how it goes. Who we got at 4?
Bauer.
Oh God, stop it!
They would win the World Series if they added Bauer.
Okay, Huffy. Once again, disregard anything Buck or Wyatt say about baseball. Who we got at number 4?
Bauer is the greatest pitcher of all time.
So at number 4, we got the Atlanta Braves behind Soraka, Fried, Anderson, Morton, as well as a potent offense. I believe they have one of the most underrated pitching staffs. I've been saying that all off season. Retaining Ozuna was big, and I believe I said it last week. Acuna is yet to be the best player on his team, and we know that he's one of the best in the league. So yeah. I think, like I said, this is going to be a year for him.
This Braves team is going to be very, very good, and I can't wait to see how well they play. I think Acuna is coming of age. I think Acuna can win the MVP this year.
Mm-hmm.
He is so damn good, and they've got a really deep lineup and a like you said, an underrated pitching staff. However, that's where I have them behind the Mets, just because I feel like the Mets pitching staff is just a little bit better with the addition of Carrasco to DeGrom. And if you can have Syndergaard healthy, I mean, that just puts them way over the top. So that's why, for me, I had them over the Braves, but I have no problem with the Braves at 4 at all. Who we got at 3?
Number 3, we have the evil empire in New York Yankees. The upside of Garrett Cole, Severino, Corey Kluber. Can he have is he coming back from injury? Talion back behind some of the most powerful bats in the game. Gary Sanchez, what was he? 147 last year, batting average in 49 games. Yeah. So I think he's going to have a bounce back year. So I think he's going to be a huge factor for the Yankees to add into their, what was already a pretty powerful lineup the past several years.
Yeah, and I don't know how much it pained you as a Boston guy to have 2 New York teams in your top 5, but I'm pretty sure that was tough for you. But I love the Yankees too. Look, I think that the Yankees are going to do. A lot of people don't realize that this is a make or break year for Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres, if he does not perform this year, is going to deal with an offseason where shortstops are going to be at a premium. The shortstop free agent market at the end of this season is unbelievably high. And to have, Gleyber Torres knowing that that's coming to him, I think he's going to have a really, really solid year. This kid is really good. I love Gleyber Torres. I hate the fact that the Cubs had to give him up. However, they did get a World Series out of it. But the Gleyber Torres, I think Gleyber Torres is probably a top 5 shortstop in the game right now. I just would. Yeah. I really like Gleyber Torres. He
had a nice play today up the middle. I don't know if you saw that too. A slide and play, up spinning throw to first to get the out. So I think he's going to have a hell of a year.
Yeah, I do too. The Yankees, look, for me, it's pitching. The pitching has to hold up. It's been pitching for the last 5 years with them.
Absolutely.
And if that holds up, they could be a dangerous team. I think I know where we're going with number 2 and number 1. Why don't we tell the fans here who's at number 2?
I can't wait to see how this unfolds in the end. But I got number 2, San Diego Padres. They stole your guy, Yu Darvish. They added Blake Snell, Joe Musgrove, Denelson, Paddock. I mean, they're probably going to have one of the best rotations in the league. If not behind, who I got at number 1. But they also returned their entire starting lineup from last year. They led the league in runs, as well as they signed a really good second baseman out of the Korean baseball league. So. Yeah, they're gonna be pretty good, and they have some young players down in the tunnel that can come up, give them some games to allow some players like Tatis and some of Machado to get some rest and be healthy for the playoffs.
Yeah, look, the Padres to me are the most exciting team in baseball. I love Fernando Tatis Jr. I love the flair that he plays with. I just watched a video with him for the MLB, the show 21, where he's talking about, some people say I'm breaking the unwritten rules, and some people say, I have too much flair. And what do I have to say to those people? Too bad. And I love this kid's mentality. I love the way that he plays the game. I love the way that he carries himself. I love everything about Fernando Tatis Jr. I also love these San Diego Padres. I think, like you said, they added Blake Snell, Cy Young Award winner. Mm-hmm. They added Yu Darvish, who was second in the NL Cy Young last year. They added a lot of starting pitching to this team that was already pretty good at starting pitcher. And they've got a really deep bullpen. So
they also added the closer from the Braves as well.
Yeah, and to add those guys into a team that was already one of the best offenses in baseball, the best offense in baseball last year, is really where I think that they are ahead of the Dodgers, especially the Dodgers coming off of a Melanson.
As well as, we saw it against Snell, is they don't hit lefties very well. And the Padres can attack them with lefties, both from, the starting rotation as well as the bullpen. And they're a team that likes to get funky with starting their bullpen before they go into their, their starting pitchers and such like that. So they're going to have the matchup when it comes to the Dodgers, with their players, their rotation, et cetera. So I do think that they can beat the Dodgers, but I think until you beat the champs, you got to leave them there at number 1.
I agree. And so at number 1, no surprise to anybody,
Yeah, I mean they check every box. They got 3 potential Cy Young winners. I know you're not a fan of Bauer, but he won it last year, so I mean he's gonna
Heck yeah, he
more than
did.
likely he's gonna be there again. You got Price, Urias. I mean they're gonna have a solid bullpen, position players and Betts, Bellinger, Seager, Smith.
Yeah.
And we haven't even mentioned my guy Mookie Betts, so they're gonna probably be right there at the end. And I'd love to see the Padres, the Dodgers, or even the Braves at the in the NLCS.
So, go ahead.
Well, like I was going to run through the top 10 there and ask you a few questions, but go ahead.
Yeah, real quick on the Dodgers. Look, I do love the Dodgers. It's very hard to repeat. Once you won the World Series, coming back the next year, it's very tough to repeat, especially when you've got a team like the San Diego Padres hot on your tail. It's going to be a very tough season for the Dodgers. It's going to be interesting to see how they perform. Like you said, I'm not very high on the Bauer pickup. I get he's the reigning NL Cy Young, but it was only his second good season out of 9, where his ERA was even under 4. So I am not high on Trevor Bauer as being dominant. But, he's a solid 4, solid 5 pickup. If that's where they're going to have him in the rotation, that's a solid pickup for them. So go ahead, Buck.
Yeah, so just running through your top 10 here, like you had the Dodgers at 1, Padres at 2, Yankees at 3, Braves at 4, Mets at 5, Twins at 6, the White Sox at 7, the Rays at 8, the Athletics at 9, and Blue Jays at number 10. The few teams that I don't see on there, one of them being the Cleveland Indians, the other one being the Astros, and the Phillies. Why did you leave those particular 3 teams out of the top 10?
Did you see when the Cleveland Indians lost?
The Indians are not going to be in the top 15, I don't believe. The Astros, well, I just wanted to keep Combs' blood pressure down this week, so I figured I'd just leave them at number 11. I mean, they lost a lot in the pitching. They do have one solid ace there in Greinke, but their young players are going to have to step up, and I don't see that happening. And then what was the third? The third one was the Phillies, you said?
The Phillies, yep.
I mean, the Phillies are going to – I think they'll be decent, but I think they needed a couple other players. I like Harper when it comes to just throwing on the YouTube highlights, but I really don't think that he helps that team. I mean, look at the talent that he is, and then look at him leaving the Nationals and what happened with the Nationals that year. They ended up winning a World Series. So
he's a great player, but a cancer to a team.
Yeah. I mean, Aaron Rodgers.
Wow. Of course he had to pull that crap.
We went an hour and a half without talking about Green Bay Packers, and then
I figured Combs was thirsty.
Hey, and I wasn't even the one who said it. I wasn't even the one who said it. That's the best part. Wait, so does Combs have to drink? I thought it was every time that Wyatt mentions the Packers. But do you have to? Is that the rules, or is it just? Timothy Leonard was here earlier. You got to answer this question. So if somebody other than me mentions the Packers, does everybody still have to drink then?
Yes.
I need this answered.
I'm thirsty, so I'm drinking.
And we just derailed just like that. So, Hoffy, let me go ahead and pop your top 10 back up here on the list. Out of these top 10 teams right here, like on your first preseason Major League Baseball power rankings of the 2021 season, of those 10, what teams do you see not making the playoffs this year?
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't believe the Rays. Every year they're there, but they lost a lot this year. They traded a couple of pieces. They do have the number one prospect, in the shortstop that they have. He says he wants to be there this year, and Wander Franco. I mean, if he has a hell of a spring training and they keep him, on the roster, but the guy hasn't played above single A ball yet. So that's going to be a key factor. But I feel like the Rays are going to be, one of those teams that has a little World Series hangover and falls out of the top 10.
So why do you have them ranked in the top 10?
Because right now that they were there last year, so you got to have them there. I mean, they're defending AL champions, but
I'm just making you defend your pick there, bud.
I bounced them between 11, 9. I mean, but I think within the first week, I won't be surprised if they're out of it.
Hoffy, I saw while we were on here, the chat was just blowing up from the time that we started the segment to the time that we ended it. It was 62 comments came up on the screen. So you got the chat blowing up here.
Whatever I can do.
So let's see here. Let me go through some of these and see what I can find.
That being said, while you do that, just to help you out, Buck, because I know you're going to be watching, your baseball. You got Bobby Witt Jr. He's the number 1 prospect right now. He's a shortstop for your Royals.
Yep.
Check out him. You got Daniel Lynch and Asa Lacy. So that's where I say next year, because I think those 3 will not be on the roster this year. So I think next year when they join the Royals, that's when they're going to be a player, especially with my guy Benintendi.
And we signed some of our core pieces to some extensions, so that helps out a lot as well. So
yeah, and Vinny says the Blue Jays are better than the White Sox. How do you feel about that right now?
I like it. I mean, I'm not a Yankees fan, so I would love to see, and I don't think my Red Sox are going to be there this year. So yeah, I'd like to see the Blue Jays. Heck, I'd like to see the Blue Jays in the World Series. I mean, being from Boston. The farm system for the Blue Jays is right there in New Hampshire. So, I mean, I've gotten to see all these, these young core guys grow up. So, I mean, I've enjoyed watching them play, and, I look forward to hopefully seeing them, make a run at it this year.
So, Hoffy, my question for you, buddy, bring up the top 10 here real quick. So, as we look at it here, we've got the Dodgers, the Padres. Everybody knows the World Series contenders here, okay? You've got 1 and 2 definite, What team's not named the Dodgers, the Padres, the Yankees? Or here, I'll just make it even better. What team not in this top 10 do you think has the best shot to win the World Series? Of these teams not in the top 10, which one has the best shot to make it to or win the World Series? Just be a complete dark horse nobody's expecting.
I believe the Angels. I mean, a lot's going to rely on Ohtani, like I said earlier. Trout's been in the league for 10 years. He's 0-3. You got Pujols, he's going out this year as his last year. They added Quintana, and you do have Justin Upton, Anthony Rendon, Albert Pujols, Iglesias, Suzuki, and Joe Madden. I'll make sure I get it right this time as their manager. So I think the Angels could be a team that wins the West and goes for a run.
So this comment brought up here, I haven't watched baseball since Pete Rose. Do the Reds just not exist anymore? Well, they did exist. Then they got rid of the best pitcher in baseball in Trevor Bauer, and now they don't exist anymore. That's basically what happened.
Hey, Combs, can you tell him that Bauer wasn't even the best pitcher on the Reds last year?
Cy Young.
Bauer wasn't even the
That's
best
all I gotta
pitcher
say.
on the Reds last year.
Who was the best pitcher on the Reds last year?
Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. I give up with you, Wyatt. I really do. Like, I don't understand. Just stop. We're done.
Cy Young.
We're done. He shouldn't have even been the Cy Young. That should have been you, Darvish.
with that being said, Hoffy, thank you for joining us here on your weekly Power Rankings segment. I look forward to, we are going to save this first preseason week here and then kind of compare it to the end just to see, how things have fluctuated in the end. Do you have anything closing thoughts before we head out?
Nope. I look forward to joining you guys next week. Thanks for having me.
All right. Anytime, man.
See you, Hoffy.
Peace out, guys.
Later off.
See you, bud.
All right, guys. So that is Hoffy, the baseball lackey, with his preseason Major League Baseball top 10 power rankings. I was really hoping he would slide the Astros in there just to get the GOAT there. But obviously, power rankings mean nothing at the end of the day. Let's just be flat out honest.
Power rankings mean everything at the end of the day, sir, especially when the Astros are not in it. So, yeah, there you go.
All right, guys. So we are going to take a quick little break here on the Man Hour. After the break, we got some more sports headlines. So stay tuned with us here on the Man Hour as we'll return shortly. Welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckheist along with Brandon Combs and Wyatt Williams. If you have missed any part of the show whatsoever, you can download this episode on iTunes, Spotify, or iHeartRadio as well. Or you can catch us on youtube.com/Man Hour, and you can replay the episode as well. That's youtube.com/Man Hour. Be sure to hit that subscribe and like button, as it helps us out more than you will ever know. So let's welcome the boys back onto the show, Wyatt and Combs. Guys, we had a great little power segment with Javi there, so we are going to have to push some stuff back for tomorrow. So way or no way, Combs is going to come at you tomorrow. So we will, tweak a little things just to make things work, just to keep the show on tact here and on time. So those of you that are expecting way or no way will be here tomorrow here on Big X Sports Radio 96.1. Combs, I know you're depressed.
Can't we just remove Wyatt from the show instead?
No, because Wyatt brings the best hair in all of Indiana.
But he's got it covered in a hat tonight, and he's got Green Bay Packers crap in the background.
Oh, yeah.
And on his freaking chest.
Yeah, I mean, I would. I mean, why not? So let's go ahead and slide back over into sports headlines here, and I'm going to flip-flop some of the topics that we have in order here, and we're going to talk about college basketball first here. So college basketball over the weekend saw some upsets. Kansas, the KU Jayhawks, Rock Chalk Jayhawks themselves, did upset number 2 Baylor, leaving Gonzaga and Michigan, to cruise to their wins here. So Wyatt, I'm going to kick it to you first here. After that loss to Kansas, are the Baylor Bears considered a top team in the NCAA basketball still?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think if you go undefeated for this long and continue to be a serious contender, that you deserve to stay atop there. I mean, I'm sure they're going to drop a couple of spots, but when you look under them, everybody really has had a lot of bad losses here recently. I mean, just within the last 4 days, today, number 8 Villanova lost, Sunday, number 8 Villanova lost to Butler. So Butler unranked, Villanova ranked 8.
Huge upset.
That was huge. You had number 5 Illinois lost to unranked Michigan State. Number 4 Ohio State lost to unranked Michigan State. Number 7 Oklahoma lost to unranked Kansas State. 16 Virginia Tech lost to unranked Georgia Tech. 24 Missouri lost to unranked Ole Miss. Then, so you mentioned, Baylor as well. Baylor didn't really even lose a bad game. Kansas is a really good team and a conference opponent as well. So when you look at all that and all the teams that lost beneath them, the farthest they'll drop, I'm saying maybe 5, maybe 6. That it can't be much lower than that because they went undefeated for this long. There's only 2 teams in basketball that were undefeated, them and Gonzaga, of course. So the worst I see them dropping here is 5 because you had the number 4 team lost and you have the number 5 team. So Michigan will jump over them. Ohio State will drop because Ohio State lost again today to Iowa. So Iowa will jump up. There's a lot of upsets here within the last 4 or 5 days. So college, but it's what we expect at this time of year. You got March Madness just around the corner. Things are really starting to spice up. Teams are on the brink. Are they going to make it? Are they not? So, I mean, things are really getting interesting all the way across the board. I'm really excited about this time of the year for basketball. It is the best.
So, who is the best team in college basketball right now, Wyatt?
Gonzaga. Undefeated. God, they I don't have their schedule with me, but they have beat probably, off the top of my head, probably 6 or 7 ranked teams and beat them handedly. Like, these aren't even close games. So, they're number 1. They've got, like I said, they're undefeated, haven't lost to anybody. They're beating really good ranked teams. So I can't count Gonzaga. If you've beat all these teams single-handedly, you're still undefeated, and you're the number 1 team in the nation. I got them as the best team in college basketball right now, and I don't think it's close. Now, once we get to March Madness, of course, everything changes. Your 1 seed could lose, at any point. You never know. But at this moment, I think it's Gonzaga's title in their hands right now. It's their title to lose for sure.
Good, Combs.
Yeah, as far as the best in basketball right now, like I really feel like this is one of those years where it is wide open heading into the tournament. There are so many very good teams. I mean, Gonzaga, like Wyatt mentioned, is undefeated. Michigan is very, very good.
It's a very good team.
With Franz Wagner and Isaiah Livers. They are a very solid team in Michigan. Illinois, man. Illinois is a very good team as well. And then even Iowa. Look, I know Iowa's down. They lost a couple games in a row there.
They beat Ohio State today or Sunday.
Yeah, so
Big one.
Iowa is one of those teams that is very good. There are going to be this is one of them years where the top 4 seeds are going to be stacked, whereas your 1 through 4 seed in every bracket region is going to be stacked. It's going to be a very good tournament. It's going to be one of those tournaments where I feel like, it could be won by a 6 seed because of the parity in college basketball.
Purdue.
If you force me to pick one right now, I think I would probably go with Michigan being the best team in college basketball, though.
Yeah, so Combs, you brought up the name Iowa. Earlier in the year, Iowa was ranked as high as number 2, if I'm not mistaken. They were a really good basketball team. But to flash back to what Wyatt said, Gonzaga really hasn't played that many good teams, Wyatt. Like, let's be honest. There is a reason why Gonzaga is like number 1 and number 2 every year. Yes, they are. Yes, they do play a couple good teams earlier in the season. Like they played Kansas earlier in the year. They played West Virginia.
I'm pulling up the schedule right now.
And then they also played Iowa, which was also very, very big wins. But since then, they haven't played anybody. I mean, their division is so trash, and there is a reason why Gonzaga, gets knocked out in the Sweet 16 every year. It's
the Elite Eight.
Once they, either way, they get knocked out because they're not used to playing those big powerhouses teams like Iowa and Michigan and Kansas, and etc. So there is no way.
They beat Iowa already by 11, though. I mean, here, get this. They beat Kansas. Which they lost to Kansas. Excuse me. Never mind. Wrong team. Baylor lost to Kansas. They beat Kansas. They beat West Virginia, who's ranked 10. They've beat Iowa. Let's see here. They beat Virginia, who's ranked 15.
Right.
They've beat a lot of really good teams.
And BYU is a good team.
BYU is a good team. But you are correct 100%. They do have a weak conference, I should say that. Their conference opponents always suck. That's mainly the reason why they always get into the tournament is because, Santa Clara is not that great of a team.
How many times does a team that is number 1 heading into the tournament ever really go through and win the tournament? You know what I mean? Like, it's usually the number 1 team usually is the first number 1 seed that goes out.
Well, 2 tournaments ago, the number 1 team going in was Virginia, and Virginia lost to UMBC. They were the first ever 16 seed to beat a 1 seed. So you are 100% correct. A lot of the times the 1 seeds do fold, but Gonzaga.
Then Virginia did return and win the national title.
They did return and win the national championship. Right. Gonzaga can never get it done. They're due. I just feel like this is that year. They have a great team. I mean, and it's weird because the best team the best player they've had in the recent history was Rui Hachimura. And really, as soon as he went to the pros, once Rui was gone, they've been a whole new team, and that's what everybody talked about was Hachimura's absence is going to be huge for him, but they've bounced back amazingly.
They will have real matchup problems with Illinois and Michigan.
I don't disagree with you. They do play a really so their schedule is really weird. They either play like great teams that are like ranked in the top 25. Or they play teams that haven't seen the top 25 since 1995 or something crazy,
right?
Because of how terrible their conference is. So they've beat the really good teams. I mean, like I said, they beat Iowa by 11. So that's why I'm such a big believer in them, But Iowa, speaking on Iowa, Buck, was that your pick, Iowa?
My pick and the best team? No.
Yeah.
I would say Michigan is the most complete team, just from from guard down to post, right? But the team that I would look out for in the March Madness tournament is the Kansas Jayhawks, and that pains me to say as a Kansas State Wildcat fan, because the Kansas Jayhawks, they were on a stretch where I think they lost four or five games in a row, the first time ever since 1996, right?
Yep.
This will probably be the first year ever that they do not win the Big 12 conference in either a regular season or a postseason tournament. with that being said, though, they're going to be hungry and they're going to have that chip on their shoulder. So I think the Kansas Jayhawks are the most scariest team heading into March Madness tournament, if that's the question.
I agree with you. I think Kansas is a really good team, but touching on Iowa, like I was saying, Iowa is my sleeper team. I think Iowa has got all their dumb losses out of the way. That's the biggest thing coming into the tournament. Have you got your dumb losses out of the way?
They went through that one really rough stretch.
Oh, yeah. They lost to IU twice.
Yeah.
They had a really, really rough stretch, but they just beat, like I said, they just beat Ohio State. They're climbing back up to where they need to be. The biggest thing they've got to solve, they have the best player in the nation in Luka Garza, but they have got to solve the defensive issues they have if they're going to be a contender. I think they will.
Do you think that losing streak in the middle of the season benefits them because instead of being a 1 seed, they'll end up being a 3 seed and maybe have an easier road in the tournament?
So I don't think they'll have an easier road, but I think, like I was saying, like it's the dumb losses. You've got to get those out of the way before you hit that tournament, because when you hit the tournament, you can't afford a dumb loss because that means your season's over. You're out.
Right.
So coming in as a 3 seed, the pressure's not on you, or not a 3 seed. They would be most likely a 2 seed at the moment because, like I said, Iowa just beat Ohio State, so they'll jump up for that. Illinois lost. Ohio State is another really good team that's going to come in now because of their last couple of losses. They're going to drop significantly. They've lost their last 3 in a row. They lost to Michigan, then they lost to Michigan State, who is unranked, then they lost to Iowa. So Ohio State's going to drop significantly. Ohio State and Iowa are my
Who did
two.
Illinois lose to? They just beat Wisconsin, didn't they?
Yes, they did, but Illinois, let me get it here. Illinois lost to unranked Michigan State. So Michigan State beat Michigan State beat both
conference game.
Yes, yeah. So
But they are still I think they are still ranked number 1 in the Big Ten right now, tied with Michigan at number 1, if I'm not mistaken, with both 3 losses, right?
They're either 1 or 2. They're up
6
there.
losses. They're second. Michigan
I'm talking about conference losses. Like it is not overall losses. Cause
but Wisconsin or Michigan's only got 1 loss on the season, don't they?
Yes,
I thought they did. Yeah,
you're right.
I believe so. I'll check that, but yes, I believe it's 1. If not 1, it's maybe 2. Yeah, it's no, and I think I don't remember who their loss came to.
They lost to Minnesota earlier in the year. They went to Minnesota and just laid a flat out dud. They lost by 25 points. I think it was.
Gotcha.
So moving forward here, why? Go ahead and complete your thought.
Yeah, no. So Iowa's got to solve their defensive issues, which I think they will. They have the best player in college basketball right now, leading their team in Luka Garza. So I think that they're a really dangerous team. They're going to come in as a 2 seed, maybe a 3, possibly a 1. I don't see it. Maybe they'll sneak up there and get that final 1 seed. So they won't have the pressure on them as much as what, Gonzaga does. They won't have the pressure that these teams that are going to, Michigan that has that 1 seed. So I think that benefits them for sure. Yes, they are 13-1. I just got it up. But I think that really benefits them. They've got their dumb losses out of the way. They've just got to solve that defensive issue. Because Luka Garza is an amazing scorer, and I think that's why he's going to be such a great NBA player, because he focuses solely on offense and not really defense. That's the league we see today, is more of an offensive scoring league. Right. So I think that's what benefits him as well in the future. But talking about college basketball here, they put up a lot of points. They got a really good team, especially their bigs. Their bigs are really good, and they play in a tough conference, so they play a lot of really good teams. So I think they'll be best suited for the tournament when it comes.
So it is March 1st here, and conference tournaments start probably in about 10 days or so, like the major ones, right? So one word answer here, Combs. Who do you have winning the NCAA tournament this season?
If I had to put my money on it right now, I mean, it's really tough. Before you see the seedings and everything else.
Right.
But I'd put my money. I really like Michigan, man. I really do. I think Michigan is, and I get Gonzaga hasn't lost yet, but I think Michigan is probably the best all-around team in the nation right now, for sure.
Wyatt, who do you got?
Iowa. They're my sleeper on that one a little bit, so I'm running with Iowa.
So I just spent about five minutes talking up the Kansas Jayhawks, and I'm not going to go with them at all. I think they're going to lose in the Elite Eight, depending on pairings and stuff like that. But I'm going to go with it's kind of like a dark horse, kind of those teams that that you always see consistently in the tournament, but never get over that hump. But Houston, University of Houston Cougars, they look freaking amazing when I watched them on Saturday. I believe it was. So I'm going to go with Houston. I love the way they move the ball around, no selfishness, and yeah, it's the Houston Cougars is where I'm going to go with that. So let's go ahead and transition back over to the NFL a little bit here. We're staying on the Russell Wilson kind of theme here, and so there are two big NFL quarterbacks that are kind of out there for the pick, right? Like we have Russell and we have Deshaun Watson as well. Combs, I'm going to kick it to you first here. Who would you rather have on your team right now, Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson?
Deshaun Watson. Not only is he younger, but I just think he's more talented. I think he is the more consistent quarterback at this point. Look, Russell Wilson, you can't go wrong with Russell Wilson. The guy's won a Super Bowl. He knows what it takes to win a Super Bowl. Should have 2 Super Bowl rings, really. But, yeah, I definitely would take, at this point, I would go with Deshaun, just mostly because I could go with Deshaun, for a very long haul. Deshaun Watson could be the quarterback for my team for the next 10 years, whereas Russell Wilson's maybe got 6 or 7 left in him at the most, if
right.
that. So I'm going Deshaun Watson.
So Wyatt, same question to you. If you are building a team right now, if I can find my mouse, there it is. Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson?
Deshaun Watson. Kind of bouncing off what Combs said here. I'm going with Watson because of talent and age. He's super young. He's just now starting to touch on that prime of his career, and also he is the second most valuable. I've said this many times on the show. He is the second most valuable football player in all of the NFL. Age, that's huge. He's super young, and then talent. He's incredibly talented. He is the new generation of quarterback. He is that athletic guy who can run around, pick up those yardage with his legs, but has also got a cannon for an arm that can put it downfield on a dot where you need it, when you need it there. So nothing against Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson is an incredible quarterback, but Russell Wilson is kind of, Russell Wilson's in his prime, but he's got less time left. And at this moment, for the next 10 years, Deshaun Watson will be more successful than Russell Wilson. And honestly, in 10 years, I don't even know if Russ will still be in the league. So, I'm looking on the long term here.
Yeah, so that's exactly where you're wrong, is you are looking long term. NFL is a win now league. You cannot look 5 years down the road. Like, there is no minor league system. Like, you cannot draft a quarterback and put him down in a double-A ball for 3 or 4 years, and when he's ready, bring him up, right? So I let you guys, pat Deshaun Watson on the back all you want, and there's a poll going over here on the youtube.com/man-hour page as well. Who would you rather have? And the correct answer is Russell. I mean, just like what Combs said, he has won a Super Bowl. He has had a good coaching around him. He is a proven winner. Deshaun Watson wins games, yes, but what has he done in the playoffs? First round exit, much like Lamar Jackson is. They are not very good in the. Oh, let me read. They are trash in the playoffs. That's exactly what they are. Yes, you can put it on Bill O'Brien, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, is Bill O'Brien throwing the ball on the field? Is Bill O'Brien handing the ball off? No, he's not. So that is why you got to take Russell Wilson right now. I mean, let's be honest. Russell Wilson right now on any other team besides the Green Bay Packers, the Kansas City Chiefs, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that's it. He makes every team better besides those three teams right now. Deshaun Watson doesn't.
Why do you do this?
What?
Why do you make me come at you and make it sound like you've never watched a game of football and you're Buck, you played football at Kansas State. You should know this game better than any of us. But it's clear that week after week after week, when you start talking football, that you have no clue what you're talking about.
Here we go.
There is no way that you can say Deshaun Watson doesn't make any team better.
I didn't say he
There's
doesn't
no way
make
you
any
can say
team better.
This guy with the Houston Texans on a 4-12 team had a quarterback rating of 102.
Yeah.
Do you know how incredibly hard that is for a
Okay.
quarterback on a losing team to have such a high rating?
Oh, it is actually a lot easier than what you think because you play behind so much that the defense is so spaced off that, they are nickel and diming you down the field. How many touchdowns did he throw, Combs? Not very many, huh? Because they were nickel and diming down the field, and then when they got in the red zone, they clamped down, and he was a above average quarterback at best.
How many touchdowns did he have? I want to see how significant this is.
But if you look at the teams around the NFL right now, Russell Wilson makes every team in the NFL better, but
He had 33 touchdowns.
A lot of those are mop
that's
up
not a lot,
to duty.
though. Yeah, oh yeah.
A lot of
33 touchdowns, a lot of those are mop up. Stop, Buck.
How's that
Stop.
not a lot? He had 19 in
You're
his first
silly.
season, 26, then 33 this year. 4,800 yards, only 7 picks, a QB rating of 112.4.
So why
What
this is
are
where I
you
come
not
at
seeing
you.
here that me
this
and
is where I
Combs are
come at
missing?
you and tell you that stats lie. Those are all padded stats toward the end of the games when they're down by like 30 points, like at some point.
Stop it.
They were 4-12.
What?
They were 4-12. So
Because he doesn't have anything. What are you seeing here that me and
lost
Combs
his
are
best
clearly
wide receiver. His other 2 wide receivers were hurt for half the year.
He had a top 5 receiver core in all of the NFL.
Stop it.
He did
Stop.
not this
Kiki
year. He
Kuti
did not
sucks.
stop it. They lost
Kiki Kuti
DeAndre
sucks.
Hopkins.
Will Fuller
I
wasn't
can't
even there
even
for the
with
whole
you.
season.
I can't.
He got busted for PEDs.
The last 3 games of the season, but that doesn't matter. Like at that point, they still had Randall Cobb. They had Kenny Stills.
Randall
Cobb hasn't been good.
Has been trash since he was in Green Bay. Randall Cobb has sucked ever since he has
guys-
not been in a Packer uniform.
You guys cannot
That is a
talk
draft.
bad about Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb has not had the long end of the stick since he left Green Bay Packer land.
That's his
be
choice.
flat out honest.
That was his choice to leave. Should have stayed in Green Bay.
But with that being said, let's look at the teams that
Go back
Deshaun
to-
Watson makes that doesn't make better. I'm going to tell you,
Packers
he does
are
not
the
make
best.
the Kansas City Chiefs better. He does not make the Packers better. He does not make the Seahawks better. He does not make the Buccaneers better.
Packers.
He doesn't even make the Colts better. Carson Wentz is a top 10 quarterback in the league, and Deshaun Watson does not make the Colts better than what they have right now. So with that being said, there are 5 teams that I named off the top of my head right off the bat. So therefore, 3 versus 5, 3 is smaller than 5, so therefore Russell Wilson
Buck.
by process of elimination is better than Deshaun Watson.
You're like I don't understand what like, I just don't get it. I mean I shouldn't be surprised because this is the guy who in his
amazing.
preseason running back rankings had the best running back in football, King Henry, behind guys like Miles Sanders and Le'Veon Bell. And we're
If they
talking
wouldn't
about
have
the
got hurt.
2021 season. We're not talking about like all time. We're not talking about career. We're talking about heading into this year. You had Le'Veon Bell of the New York Jets
Yeah.
and Miles
Wait, but-
Sanders.
did you just say if they
ahead
wouldn't
of
have
Derrick
hurt?
Henry?
Bell wasn't hurt. He just sucked.
No, Le'Veon Bell, basically the New York. So let's
Didn't
flash
he get
back to
traded
Le'Veon
to
Bell
the
here.
Chiefs?
Yes, he did,
Yes.
which was a
He got
great
dropped
pickup.
and picked up by the
Yeah, it was
Chiefs.
a great pickup. But yeah, it helped them so much in that Super Bowl. Oh, wait.
But let's go ahead and just be flat out honest. If he would have played on the Jets this season, the Jets would have probably won 5 or 6 games, and the Jets didn't want that. They were in tank for Trevor mode all season, so they were cutting every valuable asset that could help them win, and that's why they cut.
They were
him.
not in take for Trevor mode. They just sucked so bad because they had a terrible run game. They had a terrible coaching staff.
They had a terrible run game because they wouldn't give the ball to Le'Veon.
They had a
Le'Veon
general
Bell.
manager and a head coach who said, hey, we're going to trade DeAndre Hopkins because we need to focus more on our run game, and then proceeded to go get a bottom 5 running back in the league.
Who are you referring to? The Houston Texans?
Yes.
David Johnson, bottom 5. I don't know about that.
You need to lay off that jungle juice. You should gear so much.
Well,
We were talking
if he
about the
wouldn't have
New York
kept
Jets.
saying Packers, I wouldn't have drank so much.
Packers.
With that, but okay. Seriously though, Wyatt, give me the teams that Deshaun Watson doesn't make better if he would transfer to that team.
Like if he goes to that team, they would not be a Super Bowl contender.
They would not be better than what they are right now. 5 of them. Or just tell me the teams that he wouldn't make better.
Teams that he would make better or wouldn't?
Wouldn't.
Like there's not one team in the league that he wouldn't make better.
He
Like
would not make
Kansas City,
better.
Kansas City because they have a quarterback. I mean, okay, Kansas City, Tampa Bay, Green Bay.
That's it.
That's it. Because those are all solid
Seattle.
quarter. Yes, he would. He is better than Russell Wilson.
No, he's not. Come on.
Yep.
He is absolutely better than Russell Wilson.
You are absolutely out of your mind. Out of your mind. So, guys, let's go ahead and take a quick little break. On the other side of the break, we are going to jump over into the text line. If you guys want to talk about anything, any sports thing related, let us know. But then we're going to, of course, pick some Monday night games as well. So, guys, we have Shop Talk coming up right here on the Man Hour after this short little break. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckheist along with Brandon Combs and Wyatt Williams. If you missed any part of the show whatsoever, head over to youtube.com/Man Hour. You can check out the full show there, or you can also download the podcast form on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio as well. While you're over there at manhourradio.com, become a member as well. So there's $3 this month. You can join us on the after show every Monday through Thursday at 10 p.m. East Coast time. That is manhourradio.com. So let's go ahead and welcome the boys back on the show. Wyatt and Combs there, guys. So, Combs, has your blood pressure gone down a little bit since that break?
My blood pressure never goes down. When I'm on the this show with you, who says stupid stuff like
it is not stupid.
Deshaun Watson doesn't make anybody better. Like, you are out of your mind.
I didn't say he doesn't make not anybody better, but I'm telling you that Russell Wilson makes more teams better than Deshaun Watson does.
No, he does not.
So, anyways.
We just spent all last week talking about, with the Russell Wilson trade rumor, how Russell Wilson is a first half quarterback where he doesn't show up in the second half of seasons. And you agree with it, and now you're telling me that he's freaking going to make teams better.
I agree with that because that is a coaching aspect. Where is
he going to go where he's going to have a better wide receiving core than he has right now? Where? Name me one team he's going to have a better receiving core than DK Metcalf.
San Francisco, Houston.
He's not going to LA.
Chicago.
Which LA team is
Dallas,
he going to?
Rams.
No, stop it.
But like you're asking what better receiver core? I mean, I just named you 5. Saints.
Well,
6.
he's not going to
There
the
you go.
Rams because they just traded for their quarterback, so he's not going there. So they're not even an
No,
option.
here's the one. Here's the one that confuses me. Is the wide receiver core for the Texans is the one that just mind boggles me. Which? So you said they're top 5. Where are they specifically in the top 5?
Number 5.
Who do you have above them?
Tampa Bay Buccaneers at number 1. They have probably the best receiving core right now. Kansas City Chiefs. And then I would go with the Dallas Cowboys at number 3, and then the LA Raiders at number 4.
Okay, and then
The LA Rams. I'm sorry, not the LA Raiders.
So
Rams.
you're completely
so the
putting
Packers,
out
the Packers, the
Arizona
Bears,
Cardinals.
the Cardinals.
You are.
I would
guys
say
are looking at
Washington has a
individual
better-
players.
No,
I
I'm
could
looking at
name you.
receiving
I
cores.
could
They
name
just
you.
went off
I
of
could name you
DeAndre Hopkins
probably
and
10 teams.
Fitzgerald.
I can name you
DeAndre
10
Hopkins
teams
and
right now.
Fitzgerald aren't better than Kuti and freaking whoever the hell else they have.
Yeah.
What do you?
Because it's that
They're
third
better
and
than
fourth guy.
Diggs.
Stop it, Buck.
They're better than
Stop
Diggs
it.
and company. The Bengals.
Like exactly Diggs and company. Who else does the Minnesota Vikings the Buffalo Bills have? Cole Beasley. Come on,
Cole
now.
Beasley's amazing.
Cole Beasley's better than anything the Texans have.
No,
Absolutely.
he would be a 4th receiver on that team.
Oh my god.
The Steelers, as far as receiver core,
Steelers
Bills probably
too.
slide at like at number 6. Yeah.
They would be 4.
They are. Stop it, Buck. You are
If-
so. This is what I hate about you. Because even when we tell you you're wrong, you stick to your guns.
Denver.
And you just
What
keep
about
pushing
Denver?
buttons. There are
Denver's
at least
trash.
10 to 12 teams
What about
that
the
are better than
Chargers?
the Texans wide receiving core. At least
Chargers.
10 to 12.
See, you guys are failing to understand about the whole receiver core. It is from 1 to 4 plus a tight end. That is receiving core. You guys keep naming teams. Yes, they have
Who do the
Keenan Allen.
Texans have?
I
Could
just
you even
told
name me
you.
the Texans
Who's the
tight
Texans
end?
tight end?
I don't know.
Name me the Texans tight end. Come on.
It is because they run 4 receivers just like all the time. So it doesn't really matter.
I hate you. God, I hate you.
God.
So
I'm going to have a heart
Combs,
attack on this show.
let's
one
go
day.
ahead and finish the show in the chat box there in the old Thrive Fantasy
Man,
chat line.
The chat has been blowing up, man. Guys, we appreciate it, as always. I mean, we've got over 110 comments right now on the chat line. So that is absolutely amazing. Let's see where we can go.
That is just
The
unread, by
NFL
the
quarterback
way.
carousel becoming like the NBA where players dictate their destination. You can check out that blog by Tori Anderson on Man Hour Radio, but let's talk about that real quick.
Why?
Is the NFL quarterback carousel becoming like the NBA where players are dictating their destination? We got a lot of quarterbacks on the move and a lot of quarterbacks saying they want to be traded.
No, so I mean, I could absolutely see where that comparison is made. That's a tough one to make, though, for me. Simply because when you look at it, I mean, even Deshaun Watson has said where he wants to go, but that doesn't necessarily means he's going to be there. The organization still has the power to keep him. The best one, though, did you guys see the rumor? Speaking of Deshaun Watson, did you guys see the rumor where I think it was Saturday he was called in for a meeting in the Texans office, and they asked him like what he wants for him to stay, and reporters say that he looked the GM right in the face and told him to F off and flipped him off and walked out. Did you guys hear about that?
I did
heard
not, but
something
that is
about that, but
amazing.
Yeah.
It was awesome, apparently. Like, if this is true, I gained so much respect for Deshaun Watson. I will say, though, the other thing that got brought up to me that I never realized, like, I feel bad for Deshaun Watson in the situation, but at the same time, I don't feel bad for him. A friend of mine brought this up to me because even after they traded away not Deshaun Watson, after they traded away DeAndre Hopkins, he still chose to re-sign.
Exactly.
He still made that choice. So I will say that. A friend brought that up to me, and I never thought about it that way, but it is true. He should have known right then, been like, oh, okay, if they're trading away the best receiver in the league and he's not happy, maybe there's something going on here that I need to go to. So it was his choice to do that. So I will give it that.
I think that quarterbacks are starting to realize that they are the most valuable commodity in the league. For a while, wide receivers and running backs were looked at as very hot commodities. You have to have a really good quarterback in this league to be a contender. And if a quarterback is not happy, they're tired of watching the wide receivers and the running backs and the defensive players say, hey, look, we want out, trade us. The quarterback's like, you know what? Look, I'm not happy either. Why do I stay? So they are starting to do the same thing. I don't think it's as bad as the NBA. I don't think we'll ever see a super team. I don't think that, these guys are going to be able to dictate where they go, because ultimately you can say, yes, trade me. But like Buck pointed out earlier, very few players in the NFL have a no trade clause. So if I want to trade you to the Jacksonville Jaguars for a 10th round pick and there is no 10th round, I'm going to trade you. And you're going to go play for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, hey, look, I'm glad you weren't happy here, but go have fun in a dysfunctional organization like the Jacksonville Jaguars or the New York Jets or the Chicago Bears. Like, those are 3 landing spots for quarterbacks right now that I think are death traps for quarterbacks. And, yes, I'm a Bears fan saying that the Chicago Bears are a death trap for any quarterback to come there right now.
Yeah, and just to add to your point there, Wyatt, like many people are saying, Watson is just going to sit out the season and kind of force her hand, right?
No, he won't.
Well, you guys do understand, like, if Watson doesn't report to training camp, right? Basically his contract freezes. So that means he would have to sit out for 5 years, because he signed a 5-year, $100 and some odd million contract.
Yeah.
He has to sit out, quote, retire for 5 years before he is a free agent. So if he were to retire
I think
this
there's
year,
a stipulation in the NFL, Buck, not to cut you out, but I think there's a stipulation in the NFL in the collective bargaining agreement that after 2 years you become a free agent. You can retire, you have to sit out for 2 seasons, and then you become an unrestricted free agent.
Okay.
I believe.
So then let's just go ahead and add to that point. We saw Le'Veon Bell sit out a full season. He was arguably a top 2, top 3 a tailback in all of the NFL. Sit out a season, he gets cut by the New York Jets. Yes, he got cut by the New York Jets just a year after
we know that running backs are a dime a dozen. Quarterback talent is not a dime a dozen.
But they are
running
right
backs,
now.
I can
Let's be
find you a
honest.
running back in the 5th round. I can find you a wide receiver in the 5th round who can be a top 2 wide receiver on your team. That doesn't happen with quarterbacks, to be honest with you. I mean, look, Dak, is one of those who was a diamond in the rough. They found him, I believe, what did they draft him in, the 4th round?
3rd or 4th round.
So, yeah. So
Wait, who was
does
it?
happen, but
Dak.
it's Dak. So it does happen, but it's very rare. And so I don't. It's not the same when you compare a quarterback to a running back or a wide receiver, because quarterback talent is so much more necessary. However, if the Texans feel like they're going to lose him anyway, why not force his hand and be like, fine, you don't want to play for us, don't play at all.
I would. I mean, like,
Yeah.
give me
If
what
that's
I'm
how you
asking
stick it to him,
for
that's how you
him,
stick it
and
to him.
like, yeah, and so that is how we're going to end the show here, guys. But before we head out, let's pick some games here for the Monday night games. Let's stick to the NCAA basketball here real quick. Wyatt, who do you got in the UNC North Carolina Tar Heels games versus the Syracuse game?
I'm gonna take North Carolina.
Combs, who do you got?
North Carolina.
I'm taking Syracuse. Just North Carolina just doesn't look good this year. I don't know. Just something about them. It's just
All
off.
the blue bloods are off.
Yeah, except for Kansas now, right? They are
They're starting to
finding
click.
their groove.
They're starting to
Yeah.
get their groove again. Yeah.
So sticking in the NCAA here, Oklahoma taking on Oklahoma State on a big Monday matchup here. Wyatt, who do you got?
Oklahoma, they're a really good team. So,
Yeah,
yeah, Oklahoma.
I'm going Oklahoma State with the upset.
I'm going with Oklahoma State as a lock as well. I think the Big 12 is the best conference from top to bottom, hands down, besides the Big 10.
Rivalry
Big
game
Ten.
too,
The,
so that's
the Big 10 is very, very tough. Let's switch over to NBA. Indiana Pacers take on the Philadelphia 76ers. Wyatt, who do you got?
Sixers, they got a lot of MVP caliber talent there. Joel Embiid is great. Their whole team is playing really well right now, so I'll take the Sixers.
Combs?
I'm going Pacers. I really like what the Pacers are doing out there in Indiana. I know the Sixers have a really good squad, but I really like the Pacers. I think that they are a sleeper team.
Joel Embiid is playing at a very, very high caliber right now. Give me the 76ers and this one.
Former Kansas
Moving on.
Jayhawk, too.
Yeah, I saw it for 4 years. Yes, I I know. move. Staying in the NBA, you have the Utah Jazz take on the New Orleans Pelicans. Why? Who do you got?
New Orleans Pelicans. I'm a big supporter of Zion and company there. They got a really good young squad, so I'll take New Orleans on the upset.
The Utah Jazz also have a very young squad, and probably one of the best players in the game right now. So I'm gonna go with the Utah Jazz over the Pelicans.
Yeah, I do like the Joker. Give me the Utah Jazz all day long in this one. Now let's move over to hockey. You do have the Minnesota taking on Vegas. Wyatt, who do you got?
I'll take Vegas in this one.
Holmes?
Yeah, I'm taking Vegas too.
I like Vegas as well. When Vegas came
Hockey's
into
so
the
tough.
game into the NHL, I kind of told myself I was going to root for them. You know, just kind of like, you know,
I will never gamble on a hockey game, man, because it is so tough to pick a winner in hockey. There's so many.
Yeah. Usually in the NBA, if it's a mid-game week, you can pick the home team 9 times out of 10, and you'll be right. But hockey, you throw everything out the window.
Yeah.
Pick out the hat.
Wasn't it 2 years ago, the Stanley Cup playoffs? They had what was it? All of the 1 seeds except for one lost in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, and I believe that was the year that I believe it was an 8 seed versus a 7 seed in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yes.
It was ridiculous.
It was the Ovechkin and company won that one, didn't they?
Yeah, that was his first title, if I'm not mistaken. So, guys, that is going to be it for the Man Hour. You can join us every day here on Big Guy Sports Radio, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. East Coast time to 5 p.m. East Coast time. And then, of course, you can follow us on youtube.com/Man Hour. You can watch the live version of us as well. And, of course, head over to manhourradio.com. Pick yourself up some merchandise. Combs, any closing thoughts?
Man Hour Nation, rise up,